Okay. I just want to go through and talk about this Prac or this Autoexec and this Prac CFG that I created, and just like a couple things about uh, the Autoexec that's important to know, as well as how to use it and all that good stuff. So first things first, when you get this, there will be a download link. It'll probably be on GitHub. Download it and go through and replace where it's where you see these left and right like angled brackets. Replace these with like a key that you want to put in there. Just delete the angle brackets. So for my binds, I would just do like I like to have my flash on F1, so I'd do that. And anytime you see the triangle brackets, that's just means you have to replace that whole thing with what you want in there. But I'm going to go through this and talk about everything that is in here as well as in the practice config. Both of these are basically necessary right now with no practice server or anything like that for CS2. So yeah, first off, when you download this, like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's just not bound. That's fine. You got to go through and bind everything and all that good stuff, which is good. So off rip, bybinds. This is how bybinds kind of work now. These are just the ones that I use in my own config. I'll actually open up my own config so you can also see it. I'll put this in a different window. Can I do that? Book. What? Nope. Can I open this in a different window? I can't. Let me open in another app real quick. I'll just open this in Notepad. So this is mine, just so you know, the one in Notepad is mine, and then the one on VS Code is the one that you'll be downloading. So you can just see what I do in mine, as well as like what is going on in this one, just so you know that I'm actually using this. Yeah. Essentially, these are all my binds. I bind them like this for a couple of reasons. The rifles are very easy. It goes by slot number. So if I hop over to CS real quick, I go to loadout. It is exactly in the order that you see here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've ever written code, you know start at 0, countdown. So everything in the buy menu is like that except for grenades, armor, kit, Zeus. Anything you can move around is like that. The way that these binds are set up, when I go back here, is it will buy what is in slot 3. So bottom slot, oh no, second to bottom slot, top slot, second slot, third slot, fourth slot, and then there's actually fifth slot at the bottom. But I get drop scouts. I don't buy them, so I don't have it bound. Same with this stuff here. This you need to call by name instead of by slot because you can't actually move them around, at least right now. Mid tiers, I only really use like the MP9 and the XM. Usually I really only use the MP9, as you can see in my binds. These are what I have: the Mag 10 or Mag 10 and MP9, and then the XM right here. These are what I use all the time. Secondaries is pistols, so I think it's like mine is like P250, dualies, 5.7, Tech 9, Deagle. I just use them on my arrow keys. I have a 10 keyless, so that's just what works for me. Here, I'll talk about the Prac config really quickly. Here is just unbinding all the keys I actually use in the practice config. If you download this, it's very important to know that these keys are being used. Okay, so like if you ever do anything, these keys are being used in here. This practice config is really nice. It basically lets you do anything you want to do with the prac, and it makes it easy to do things like remove the grenade effects. Mollies will stay lit on the ground when you use this, but it will stop the sound. It'll remove all smoke grenades, and that's just bound to home. End round to restart the round so you can test timings. End to rethrow grenades. To speed up time, this is good for getting rid of mollies and the old way of getting rid of smokes. Adding a bot, making a bot crouch, placing a bot, kicking a bot, or kicking all. This kit kicks all the bots, so you can essentially practice like boosting or like see what kind of angles are visible by placing bots down. It's pretty finicky with how bots work in CS2 compared to if you use like the practice mode plugin before, where they go where you're standing. It'd be nice to be able to do that, and I'm sure there's a way with bot place to give it like an exact coordinate. But this is fine for what I've used it for so far. The trajectory just changes if you can see the trail or not in game, and then the practice is enabled. So very easy stuff. I remove the intro, make sure that there's the picture-in-picture mode is on, and there's a trail, and the trail time isn't like too long. Buy anywhere, no freeze time. You can edit this if you're trying to do spawn timings. You can have a freeze time so you can like put yourself in the right spawn, which if you use something like these ancient spawns here that I use for window smokes, you can use something like this to put you in a spawn to test specific timings for spawns. You just have to get pause for the spawn and then alias it so you can type it in and you can test timings like that. That's how I do it at least. Making sure cheats is on, max money, all that good stuff is always needed. Making sure that you respawn, so when you do kill a bot, it will respawn. Infinite ammo, making sure the bots don't move, removing all the bots at the start, so you just add them when you want them. Very easy, very small practice mode, but very useful to have. So yeah, that's all this does. It unbinds it. Nade binds, I missed a backslash here, but nade binds, incredibly important, I think, to have nade binds, so you're not scrolling through nades. So for me, I have it bound to, I have mine in a different spot, I think. Yeah, I have them right here. So these are where I bind my nades. So Q, X, C, and X and C. Q, Z, X, and C, sorry. So Q is my flashbang, Z is my molly, X is my smoke, C is my HE. That's just what's always worked for me. And it's made it very easy to pull out nades, and I know exactly what nade I want whenever I want it. So I don't need to tap 4 to scroll through nades or anything like that. Very, very useful bind to make double click throwing consistent. In Go as well, double click throwing was never consistent, so I used this bind to make sure that like my double clicks always went the same distance. Same with my jump throw, has the same idea with the minus attack and minus attack 2, making sure it's always releasing at the exact same time. It's important. Especially now in subtick, I think this is actually even more important because of how it tracks it. But so yeah, this is a good bind to have. I basically just bind it to reload. So I press R. If I have my gun out, it'll reload. If I have a nade out, it does that. It works for me. And it's easy to hit whenever I need it. I have a gamma toggle bind. This is kind of left over from Go when there was the gamma bug, where your screen would be really dark sometimes when you would tab back into the game. So that's what I used to use this for. I now use it for some maps where like it's just too bright and I need to like tap it. I kind of want to put this on like a better key to access myself, but that's what I just have it on period for now. Quick switch bind, you can remove this if you don't like it, but I use this to have a fast quick switch. I bind it to mouse 4, and essentially you hold down the button and you'll have your knife out. As soon as you let go, it takes out your whatever you had previously. I find this incredibly useful for throwing double flashes. I'll show in game once I load up the Prac mode and talk about like actually how to load the Prac mode up, how I use it. But this is the jump fix. So this is just desubticking jump, so that's always consistent. And then I just provide one bind here. You would generally want to bind, I think you can see in mine here, I have it bound to mouse wheel up and down. I don't use jump on any other key. If I need to jump without with like a key instead of my mouse, I use my jump throw bind, and I just don't have a nade out, and yeah, that's just how I do it personally. This is some aliases for forward jump throw and jump throw binds. You do need this alias in here, otherwise you will get stuck not being able to jump. I don't know why, this game is weird, but that's just how it works. So essentially, the forward jump throw is just like in Go, where you're moving forward, jumping, letting go of the nade, and then releasing the jump. Same with the jump throw bind. These work just like in Go. So you just bind these to whatever key you used in Go for jump throw and normal jump throw. These are the SpunJ binds, I'll call them for now, but they're essentially desubticking your movement so that you are more consistent in where you're stopping and counter strafing. There's a whole Twitter thread on this that if I remember, I'll link below in the description that you can look at, but these are very, very good. I've found them more consistent with my counter strafing and movement in general. So I would recommend using these. These are all bound to the default keys. Like I say here, if you live somewhere weird like France, you need to adjust the key bindings to be correct to your area. So I don't know what you guys use. I know it's different, like Z or some shit there, but WASD for movement or whatever movement keys you use would be bound for this. And then this is a fix for desubticking your spray. For me, this feels better for sprays, but this one is probably the most controversial I'll include in the whole Autoexec. Just because some people will not notice a difference, but for me at least, it makes my sprays feel a little bit more consistent. And then the last thing I'm going to add here is aliasing an alias called Prac. And all I want it to do is exec prac.cfg. So whenever I can load into a game, I just type prac. You'll be able to just type prac, and it'll exec your prac.cfg. I have it in the bottom of mine as well, so very good. As well, feel free to add things like you can see in mine. I have like my view model, my radar scaling, FPS, and some other like alias binds down here. That stuff is all very, very useful, very good to have in your Autoexec. But essentially, you can see all of this is the same. I'm testing out if most 2 desubtaking also, or attack 2 desubtaking also makes my opping feel a little bit better when I'm quickscoping and things like that, but I'm not sure yet, so I didn't really include it in this. But that's the Autoexec and the Prac config. So to install the Autoexec, I give the link right here. So you just copy this and paste it, and you'll want to drop it right in here. I have mine right here. So this is my Autoexec that we were looking at before. So it's all good. And then in game, it will automatically execute if you need to reload it in the middle of a game. Oops. We'll go to CS2. You just go into console and type exec, Autoexec, and it'll re-exec everything. It's very good. Lastly, to load the practice config, you need to do it this way because otherwise SV Cheats doesn't load properly. I always just click grenade camera on. I don't know why, but I do. And then pick a map. So you go play, practice, competitive, pick a map. So we'll just do Mirage, hit go. And then once it loads in, you'll be able to type exec prac, or in my case, I have it exec to this. And then now my prac mode is up and running. I can end rounds and for jump throw and all that stuff. So yeah. And like I said, the quick switch bind, the last thing I'll go over is a quick switch bind. I find it really useful for throwing double flash. So I don't have to go like 3 and then pull out another flash. I can just click my quick switch bind. If I turn infinite ammo off, you'll see I can do it very easily as well with my double flash. I just click my quick switch bind, just what I'm clicking. I hold it, knife comes out, gun comes out, and I'm able to do it pretty quick without really any trouble at all. But I hope that the config is useful, and a lot of people find my description of everything like pretty useful. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter and I'll try to answer. But yeah, I hope the config is useful for you guys, and you guys are able to actually use it.